So, settling for a meditation which I thought might be really helpful for a kind of new beginning, a new year, a new month, a new term, um, whatever's new. And this is, of course, also one of the aspects of mindfulness and being in the present moment is meeting, receiving, accepting each moment as a new moment. It's a moment we haven't experienced before. So we can enter the present moment by focusing on anything that we're perceiving right now through our body, through our senses, through our awareness of mind. And I often like to start with my feet on the ground or my bum on my seat, to feel the weight of my body in some way and the connection with the ground. And I also like to often start with myself, to close my eyes for a moment so I can really get a sense of myself, this entity that is the way in which I experience the world, through which I experience the world. And it can be useful to start with ourselves because it gives us an opportunity to check what Aldous Huxley called the doors of perception, our doors of perception. So I've spoken before about the way in which we receive the world, often being not completely clean, objective, or clear. We might be wearing rose-tinted glasses. We might be wearing shit-tinted glasses because we've woken up in a certain mood or a certain state. So sensing ourselves in the present moment. How am I? And noticing this potential attitude we might have with which we observe ourselves or with which we interpret how we are. And perhaps we need a little bit of an antidote of extra kindness, a little bit of curiosity. And you might like to keep your eyes closed to tune into your sense of hearing and to have a sense of the space and the world around you. And then noticing how this poem resonates within you. Start close in. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing. Close in. The step you don't want to take. Start with the ground you know. The pale ground beneath your feet. Your own way of starting the conversation. Start with your own question. Give up on other people's questions. Don't let them smother something simple. To find another's voice, follow your own voice. Wait until that voice becomes a private ear listening to another. Start right now. Take a small step you can call your own. Don't follow someone else's heroics. Be humble and focused. Start close in. Don't mistake that other for your own. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing. Close in. The step you don't want to take. And reflecting for a few moments on this idea of a step you don't want to take. Maybe something that we're resisting inside of us or outside of us. Maybe it's this idea of not wanting to come out of hibernation, or resisting our practice in some way. Resisting looking inside. And perhaps when we start close in, when we check in with ourselves, everything is really okay. Wherever we are, we can start from there. And the next step might be to open our eyes and to take in our surroundings in this present moment from perhaps a place that feels a bit more mindful than where we were before. Look around and taking in taking in the world, the room, noticing the way we perceive it. Our likes and dislikes, the way we might prefer looking, in my case, at a tidy area of my room, and would rather not look at the dusty surface. And then moving and stretching our bodies a little bit with mindfulness of how our body feels. Maybe the breath changes as we start to move. And then being perhaps a bit more aware of the here and now, and how we are in the here and now, and how we're seeing the here and now. We can go into our next activity. So we can first notice how we stand today, how we've placed our feet on the ground. So again, starting close with our own bodies. This place that we're perhaps quite familiar with. In front of the iPad or the computer. These days on Zoom, YouTube. And perhaps again closing our eyes for a moment, or turning away from the screen if that's helpful, to be able to bring our attention back in again. And if you're able to close your eyes and keep your balance, you can notice, the difference in your perception with your eyes closed. You might notice different things from when you have your eyes open. Are there any adjustments you could make to your standing posture? Allow you to be more comfortable or more steady. Can you trust your body to maintain this standing pose? A colleague of mine talks about, he does a lot of qigong and martial arts, talks about how hard it can be to just stand. He finds it harder than maybe doing a more complex yoga pose or movement. How is it for you to just stand? And then we can take some small mindful steps, and particularly noticing the first step. How is the first step? We break it down to moving quite slowly. What can we notice? Can we do each step as if it's the first? You opened your eyes. It might be quite tricky to walk very slowly with your eyes closed. You could try. You might need to speed up a little. Bringing this in the moment curiosity to your awareness of each step. And standing still again, noticing the stillness. Perhaps closing your eyes again. And inviting you to bring something to mind that you kind of want to move towards at some point this year. And maybe you're not ready to move towards it. It might be something that you have in mind for the spring or the summer. Something you can look forward to. Maybe it's something you want to do later today or later this week. Bringing this to mind, it could also be a person, it could be an activity, a new course, a hobby. Bringing it into your mind, which might be in the form of a thought, the form of a word, the form of an image. Do you notice doing anything with your body in response? Perhaps you're still in exactly the same place. Maybe there's a sense of your attention going forwards in your body. Sensations in the front of your body or a leaning forwards. Could be super subtle. Maybe there's an opposite, going backwards in a very subtle way, or neutral. And then what would it be like to take a step towards it? If you're not ready to, you can stay standing or walk backwards. And then coming back to a place where you'd like to stand for a moment if you have been moving. And noticing how it is to stand still, maybe to not have taken a step in the last bit of this practice. Any eagerness or lack of eagerness to move, or contentedness perhaps with being here. And then we can let our hands and arms move gently, stretch out a little bit from where we stand, expand up or sideways. Maybe noticing our breath changing again. Letting go of any rigidity that might have come into your body from standing still, and the perhaps unexpected effort of that we can experience in standing meditation. And then coming back to seated or lying down posture for a final relaxation in the practice. So especially if we've detected in ourselves a longing for more rest or stillness, this can be a useful part of our practice to do even less and be able to be in the present moment in a way that's very relaxed, easy, letting go of the urge to do. There is an urge to do. Or perhaps that, again, that part of us that might resist rest. Noticing your perception again. How is your perception of resting and the validity of resting in this moment? Sometimes the mind overrules the body. The body might want rest, and the mind keeps us going, or the other way around. again, listening inwards to all these subtle messages that might be there in the body and the mind. And sometimes it's useful to recognize where the thoughts might come from. Maybe it's the kind of general attitude prevalent in society to kind of place more value on doing and being busy. And if it's helpful, you can gently, with an out breath, let go with any of these conceptions or thoughts that you don't really need in this present moment right now, if there are any. Very gently blow them away on the out breath. If there's a desire in your body to do some movement, you might choose to do some gentle movements. Being at home on Zoom, microphones are muted. You could do some gentle yoga, anything that pleases your body right now. And if there's this sense of being still being really helpful, using your out breath to enter a bit more deeply into the stillness. As you breathe out, you can draw your mind in towards the center of your belly. As you breathe in, ensuring your belly is relaxed. Seeing if you can let your mind be in the center of your lower belly. It may be helpful to have a felt sense imagined or felt sense in your body of darkness. Nighttime. Perhaps the color black is useful. to have this felt sense or imagined sense that on your exhale you can move right down into the center of the lower belly, and that there's a black dot there. And that this represents a very dormant state, like an underground seed or bulb that's still in winter. As you breathe in, relaxing around that black dot, as you breathe out, coming back to it with your awareness and your imagination. And then for a moment, letting go of all of that. Nothing left to do. Just being in the present moment. And then returning your attention to the center of your lower belly. And in the space of the black dot, imagine a tiny spark of light, or fire. There might even be an embodied sense of it, or you might be imagining it. That inside this winter darkness, deep rest that the black dot symbolizes. There's the potential for life and energeticness to stir once again. The spark of life is there. And you can let that light expand, so perhaps it's attractive for you to imagine it as a flame, or something like a star, becoming bigger, becoming more like a sun. ever expanding source of light and warmth. Imagine it expanding into your body now as you breathe in. Each time you breathe in, imagine a little bit more of this spark, this life force, this warmth and light filling your body. And as you breathe out, relax into it. If you're basking in the light. Perhaps noticing a change in how you're breathing. It might be helpful to breathe in a bit more deeply with an intention of filling your whole body with breath and light. And to breathe out slowly to relax the body. And then imagine or have a felt sense that this light could bring a sparkle to your eyes, an aliveness, a vibrancy to all the cells in your body. Imagine this light can wake up the whole of you. And on the next breath, imagining breathing into your whole body, right down into your fingers and toes. Perhaps stretching out. Maybe a yawn will come. And breathing out and relaxing again. And when you're ready to, again, concluding the practice with opening your eyes and doing any further movements that would gently bring you out of the practice.